Hashtag peasant. Oh, this guy thinks he's better than us. It's a diplomatic station. Yell citizen, see if anybody pays attention. That's my makeup shit for brains. Too shiny, not shiny enough. Attention, residents! Judging by what we know about Roe versus Wade, in the context of being 30 years into a 20-year war on terror, the interim regime ended on September 11, 2001. Somebody is paying these idiots to rock the vote until it sinks. You're gonna vote with your dollars. Vote with your vagina. I can exchange dollars for vagina in a communist setup. You understand now why some folks a little worried. Maybe the lights are on, but nobody's home. The president doesn't have to be on TV every day, let alone the Senate. If you're looking for the Senate, they want to hear you tell me why. Oh, tea in the harbor. You need a map? All diplomats belong to a bard. Bards are priests and judges, including the Senate and Caesar, the anti-Senate. Why the president has the veto. Diplomats include doctors, police, celebrities, pilgrims, etc. The church does not dictate democratic policy. That would be autocracy. They teach what we know to be true. Policy does not affect the church. Policy affects police. Church doctrine isn't subject to your discretion. It's subject to Rome by way of Geneva at this time or whatever proxy. The Pope is the ultimate scientific authority in this world. That means if you're still doing it wrong, like some other way than we already saw happen, we wait to see how it works out. Rome, by any other name, guarantees a republic will be in place to protect all churches alike so that your flat earth bullshit doesn't threaten the kids, Congress. Note that the United Nations is represented in Geneva because we're not zombie retards with some gay mafia healthcare rat race selling crack out of Washington and unionizing police contrary to jurisdictional limitations. They know where to find us. It is an eternal Jericho with an occasional blue ribbon pig pageant to distract the peasants. We can improve the House. It just has to stop resembling a communist hostage situation yesterday. For linguistic purposes, the historical, traditional, customary, the House of Representatives does their best work in Philadelphia. It's where they accidentally abolished slavery 50 years before the Civil War.
From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli.
I was talking to some homeland plant. Why would I tell them the truth? And why would they use it to fuck us? Why would I be under oath at a campfire? And why isn't she a Supreme Court justice? The current apparatus lives in a fucking fantasy world. Most likely from being primped and powdered and paraded around. Try to compete in this race against the world's greatest man-made wonder in history. So of course they're going to be like, oh, just give us your money, and they're not going to protect it like they matter. Like, we're keeping Hollywood. What's the argument? Hollywood been shooting up our schools for the past 30 years. Oh, we don't know what to do about it. We could stop the people doing it, but they're attacking us from a place where there's no money. We have no choice but to compete, to participate, justify a precedent where it doesn't matter if you're elected or not. It's a life or death situation. Vote about it all you want. No taxation without representation. When's your turn to get raped? So yeah, smoking tobacco. American tobacco. Doing my part. I buy American gas. I eat tacos. And only tacos. All I ever wanted was right and fair and best for everybody. Should be pretty lucrative. So what are we going to do with all these mental health crisis professionals in our rapidly expanding profiteer health race? Well, the good news is being a fucking retard's a form of insanity too. They might have a bright career ahead of them in Washington. First, do no harm. Or you're not a doctor. You're not a diplomat. You're not a refugee. There is no amnesty. There's no immunity. There's no knocking down 3 towers with 2 planes telling me to shut up. First, do no harm or you're a wizard. It's a show. You're a peasant. You're busking. Freedom of the press is a sacred and inviolable right. The licensed press, you need a license to drive on the roads. First, do no harm or you owe us money. First, do no harm or you're not a doctor. You're a wizard. You're a barbarian. Peasant. You have no rights. You have no authority. Your currency is put to better use. The church is open to all. If that's allowed. There's not some infinite, bottomless tax shelter for your world's fastest car thieving operation, building an abomination wall between 2 countries. Like, why are there 2 different countries here? How did that happen? Oh, a river. There was a river there. There was already a river. It's not Washington's fault. For 600 years, Germany wasn't allowed to read. They still operate on a principle of the answer can't be right if the question is wrong. The United Nations is going to pay back everything that they've stolen from the Irish and the Italians and the Polish by setting up camp between the Islamic State in France and the Protestants of Germany. And that's fine. There's no cause for alarm. We now possess technology an epoch in human understanding on the order of written language. It allows us to calculate numbers instantly. It's called a calculator. Combined with the internet, which is a world wide web. It was introduced as such. We must assert ourselves toward understanding this internet. My name is Noel D. Smith. D is in Delta, not as in Delta Force. Delta is in none of your business. I study intellect, the ability to connect 2 ideas accurately, not to be confused with intelligence. Had I known I had my very own pet zombie apocalypse, I might have chosen my words more carefully. But I am a formerly decorated combat lifesaver, qualified radio man. So threatening me usually doesn't even piss me off. Spent most of my working life in security related fields. So may begin to understand like why it didn't work. Like I tried to do the right thing. Play religious games with somebody that doesn't have a reason to feel guilty. I debunked Satanism on my YouTube at Bubba_Silver. What the implications might be for all the rest of this. I'll be emailing Washington tomorrow. Now, if there's some intermediary deciding whether or not, I expect a response regardless. Act like you can tax us to fund some Punch and Judy show pretending to be the government and not respond. Oh, it's an ongoing investigation. Oops, I counter-investigated.